All right, in this video, we'll address question 4 of minor project 2. This is a scatter diagram to explore the relationship between total gross sales and number of weeks in release. So in this one, I will show you how to do the graph. Let's see. All right, so we can go to insert. We have our charts here. We could also do recommended charts. There's 3 basic places. Highlight your data. And as a reminder, you need to have both columns side by side. So in this case, total gross sales and number of weeks in release. We want them side by side. Now, highlight your data, and you can go to the bottom here to use charts, more, and select your scatter plot. You can select it at the top toolbar by going to Insert and click this button for scatter plots. You can also hit Recommended Charts and click that button for scatter plots. Either way, you'll basically get the same type chart that you want. So here's the scatter plots. Oops. And let's just pick one. Well, and we'll go with it. There we go. Okay. Now I like to move this towards the top so we know what the names of our axes and what the chart title should be. So move that to the top. Okay. Okay, so as far as our chart title, this is, we could say, relationship between total gross sales and number of weeks in release, or you can title it something similar to that. One thing that we notice right away is this outlier. So the outliers are those dots that aren't together in a group. So you could basically say even this could be an outlier, but this one for sure is an outlier up here. Now that one is 169.61 and 46. So let's take a look at what that one is. If we go to data, filter, and we can look for 169. Let's see, it's this one right here. So that outlier is hidden figures. That one is different. There's some anomaly to that that's not consistent with the rest of it. So you could take a look at that and include that in your write-up as to what that outlier is and why it's out there. We also want to add our trend line. So if we go back to, you have to click on your chart, go to chart design and add your elements. Remember, you want your axis titles and we want the trend line. Okay, and we, again, I like to format my trend line so that it has a little thicker line there. Here we go. And you can have dashes or you can have a solid line. That's up to you. All right. Now, if we wanted to remove that outlier, we could basically do that by formatting the axis. So it would still be there. We just wouldn't show it on the chart. Maybe we want to bump this up to, let's say 5 here and change this to 30. So we will lose that outlier if we do that, but that gives us a better look at what else is going on here. But if you want to include that outlier, you can definitely go back and put that in there. It's probably around 48, so maybe we'll change this to 50. There we go. Okay, and then as far as our titles go, if you remember, our X and Y axis, X is on the left, Y is on the right, and the Y axis is over here. So we want this to be weeks in release. And we want this to be total gross sales. All right. And then similar to question 3, where we saw that the more theaters the movies were in, the more money they made. The same is true here. The longer the movie's been out, the more weeks it's been in release, the more money that it makes. Again, there's this outlier here that's showing it made not as much money, and it was out for quite a bit of time. So if we look at that again, I think that was this one. So it was out for 46 weeks. That's a long time. And if we look at that basically with, well, let's do it this way. So that's the longest the movie has been out, was 46 weeks. And it didn't make as much money as, let's say, this one, which, let's click on that so we can see it. Well, hover over it. Eventually we'll see it. 532.18. So if we sorted that, 532.18. So this one was only out 20 weeks, but it brought in 532 million. So that's something that you could talk about in your narrative, where this one was out 46 weeks, and this one was out 20 weeks. So those are, this one definitely didn't perform as well as expected. And if we wanted to compare those side by side, that was 20 weeks and 46 weeks. We could look at it like this and see there were some others that were at the 20-week mark. But basically that first movie, Rogue One, that one definitely brought in the most money. Okay, that's it for question 4.